Hey, it's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualise, my sexual life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, so subscribe and hit the bell icon right now. So in today's episode, I'm going to be discussing with you how to cope with feeling anxious about change. So, welcome to my channel. If you're new to this channel, I'm asexual and I help other asexuals with love, life, confidence, dating and relationships, self-love, self-care, and many different aspects of asexuality using my own asexual life. I'm a best-selling author of Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual, 78 Life Lessons that Haste Your Life, and also Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Stories, Love, Life and Sex, a celebration of asexual diversity. I'm also an asexual speaker and coach. Let's crack on with today's episode. These books can be got from Amazon, by the way, both of them. So, how to cope with change when you're feeling really anxious about it. So, if you didn't already know, I have to move home. I got an unexpected email from my letting agency last week letting me know that on my next payment date, which is the 9th of October, they will likely be giving me official notice because my landlord is considering selling, and it's to plan for his financial future. So they're giving me a heads up early, basically, to give me a little bit of extra time to start looking for somewhere. So that was unexpected, but I did actually think about moving in the future because I felt that there's a number of things here that aren't quite right for me, and I would like to have a better place for myself. So it was an unexpected thing out of the blue that came about a week after I actually told my best friend that I'm thinking about moving in the future because I don't feel as safe here like I used to, and also there's a number of issues that I think could be improved. And so it was unexpected, the email, but it was something I'd already considered, but I didn't consider about moving straight away. It's something I was thinking about for the future. And so the email brought about a change really quickly because it was out of the blue. Now, I'm glad they're giving me extra time to find somewhere, but it's still really difficult in my city to find somewhere new to live because the majority of it is student accommodation. It's hard to find one-bedroom flats. Any flats you do look at, you've got to get in there before anyone else or be one of the first to get in there, because a lot of the flats, they just have viewings booked out all day and it's first come first serve, basically. Whoever puts the money down first and whoever the landlord picks as well, that's who gets to get the property. So earlier I went to see a flat. This one's a 2-bedroom flat. I've never ever had a 2-bedroom flat in the whole of the time since I've left home. Right, and I didn't have a 2-bedroom home then. My parents had 3 bedrooms at that point. So I've never ever had a property that I've rented that's had 2 bedrooms. So this is new for me. So when I went to look at the property, before I even went to look at it, I intuitively felt it's somewhere I need to go and I thought I'd really like it. When I got there, I did actually like the flat. I thought the flat is really lovely. It's a fantastic layout. The tenants have kept it in really good condition. It's got everything I could want in the flat. And it is in a central location. It's got double glazing, gas central heating. The second bedroom I could use for an office for my work, which would be really fantastic to have a proper designated office. And they're basically, there's a small kitchen and there's a sort of lounge / utility room. So, and the bathroom's good. It's got a bath. I thought the little bit, well, I was going to say the little bit that's the only issue I would say that isn't so great is the bathroom because it's a bit dated. They did have a flood about a year ago. They had some leak from one of the properties downstairs, which I don't know how they had a leak from a downstairs that went upstairs, but never mind, because it's the last flat, it's the top floor flat, so I didn't understand it. But anyway, the lino had to be pulled up and there's like hazard warning tape down because they didn't actually replace the lino, and the bath looks a bit dated, but apparently the shower's new. But it serves its purpose, but everywhere else it's pretty pristine, clean, and really good condition. So it's almost like the bathroom is the only thing that looks a bit old and dated. But it was really nice. The tenants have been there 3 years. The woman works nights and then sleeps in the day, and she said it's quiet, especially just closed the window to the bedroom, and it's really quiet. She said the neighbours are friendly. She's only moving because she's buying somewhere in Exeter. That's the only reason she's moved. So she's been there 3 years and she likes the quietness of it because it suits her working pattern. And as I usually work at night anyway, because I'm an author, as you know, and a YouTuber here, then that should work well for me because I'll be on the basically same shift like she is. So this is really good. So one of the things that's helpful, that helps with coping with change, is if you are having a change happen and there's other people that have experienced a similar sort of thing before, or they're connected to the thing that you might be needing to do in order for the change to progress in a good way, then do talk to these people. So if I didn't make that quite clear, because I said it in a roundabout way, basically I'm anxious about moving. So when I went to view the property with the letting agency guide, the tenants were still there, and it's a woman with her son, and the woman said that she liked, that she liked to live in there, basically, that it really suited her, that it's quiet, it was warm, it's cheap. I don't think it's cheap for me. It will be a lot more money for me. It's like an extra £100 to what I'm paying now per month. And it might be a little bit more on the bills as well. Well, it will be more council tax as well, so it'll be higher because there's only one of me, but there isn't any one-bedroom flats available. There's only two-bedroom. So, yeah. And what eases anxiety is if you can hear from someone else that they like the thing that you're going to or thinking about doing. So in this case, she likes where she lives. She finds it very helpful, very quiet, nice, friendly neighbors, and she really likes it there. So to ease my anxiety, having her actually say these things does really help, because when you hear firsthand someone else's experience who's in the position that you might be in, i.e., has the flat that you might move into, then gives you really good insight to lower your anxiety. And she actually said that there's friendly neighbours, which I didn't know, until she said. I didn't actually ask her that. She volunteered that information. However, there was some concerns because there was another flat that the letting agency showed me, which is in a diabolical state, and it's not even going to be ready for over 2 months. They got to completely redecorate because of tenants that left. So there's 2 block of flats. This is in the other block of flats, and in the other block of flats, they basically left it in a real tip. And it's got to have new lino floors, it's got to have new cupboards in the kitchen, it's got to be all redecorated. They've already started redecorating, got furniture has got to go out. So it's just a lot of work, and it won't even be ready for 2 months. So basically the previous tenants wrecked the place, and it was like 3 years they'd stayed in there. So obviously if they're wrecking the place, then it makes me worried and concerned that what are the people like that live there. Also, there's a problem with the bin area because they get filled up, and so they overflow, and then they have seagulls come in. And one of the tenants who I spoke to, I asked him if he liked living there. This is earlier on today, well, yesterday now, because we've gone over midnight. He said he likes living there, but there are problems with the bins, and like the seagulls come. He said, and there was a homeless guy the other day rummaging through all the rubbish, but he helped them out really by taking some of it away. And the letting agency did say that, there was a homeless man who went in the corridor and decided to sleep under the stairs, and someone phoned just to get him removed. So all this type of thing worried me in terms of safety. So I was like concerned about my safety, but the actual woman in the flat said it's basically seems to be safe there, and she said it's really friendly. And so I wanted to know if there's any safety issues that I should be aware of. Obviously, if there's a homeless person coming in, it's not good. But the letting agency said you'll have antisocial behaviour wherever you go. And he said that, someone just phoned up and then we get him moved, if that happens. But what happens is there's 2 blocks of flats and there's a key fob to get into the actual building, but there's also a trade button. You can press the trade button and then that lets tradesmen in, postmen and stuff like that. And the fact there was a homeless guy there, like under the stairs, that's not actually in the block of flats that I was looking at. It's in the other block. There's 2 right next to each other. Well, one's in front and the other's back. Then it was like worrying. So I thought, in order to see what it's really like, I want to get more tenants' opinions if I can, people in the local area, and to see what it's like at night. So I went there after 9 o'clock and it was really quiet. It was shockingly quiet. It's like you could hear a pin drop. It was that quiet. And I'm like, oh my gosh, eerily quiet. It's really good. So I'm like, this is so quiet. It's like, I'm not used to that amount of quiet, to be honest. So I guess that was a good thing. And then I spoke to like a Chinese guy who, there's quite a lot of student accommodation. There's like student accommodation next to it, but there's student accommodation around it as well. And I asked this Chinese guy, like, hi, do you live around here? He said, yeah, I live in this area. And I said, what's it like? And he said, I've only been here 2 weeks, but it seems a decent area. He's had no problems. So that was good. And then I actually saw a different tenant come out of the actual place where I'm going to be living if I get it. So there's a building in front, a building behind. I'm actually would be in the building behind, but he came out this building, which is near the bins. And he said that he's been there 3 months and never had any problem. He said it's safe. He's never had anything stolen. It's really quiet. There's no loud music or noise. And he said that he comes back. He's a carer and he works in the day and comes back at night, and he's never had a problem in the whole 3 months he's been living there. And that people are friendly and nice. And he thinks it's a fine. He said, I can't say for definite because things could change. But he said since I've been here, it's fine. The neighbourhood's fine. And there's like a Tesco just around the corner, and there's a security guard there till 11 o'clock at night. And I said, I like going clubbing, but I can't go at the moment because I've injured my back. And he's like, oh yeah, students, they go out clubbing and come back 2 a.m. in the morning, they're fine. So, and he said, there is a park that's got some dodgy people in it, but that's further over, going further down the city. So he said, it's fine as far as he's concerned. And there was 3 other people that were going past, 2 people coming out, 1 person going in. They all looked fine. So, because there was a guy downstairs in the flat, and the guy downstairs in the flat does look a bit dodgy. The one that said that there was a homeless person rummaging through the rubbish. The guy does look a bit rough, but so he's not my favorite person to talk to, but I did want to get his opinion. He was the one who told me about the homeless guy sleeping on the stairs. So I was a bit worried, but the other tenants, he'd never seen anything like that. And he works in the day and goes out at night, but comes back at night and then goes out for a cigarette. So people can smoke in the area just before the flats, but can't smoke in the flats. So I would have to go through smoke to get into my building if I get it. So anyway, considering people seem to like living there and it does seem quiet and there doesn't seem much trouble or noise or anything, I thought I would apply for it. So I have applied for it. Then I've got to wait about 24 hours. So I was very anxiety induced because of the change. I was actually having some tears in the supermarket and feeling overwhelmed. And I think this was because I was worried about the safety aspect. But now I've talked to some residents there, I'm less worried and more excited. So if there's people who are doing the thing that you want to do, whether that's living in an area you want to live in, or whether that's doing a career you want to do, or a hobby you want to do, or something you're thinking about doing, in order to lower anxiety, it's a really good thing to go and talk to a person or people about what it's like to do the thing you want to do, and try to get their honest opinion where there isn't someone else around, like in authority, that might sway them one way or the other. You can do this with all walks of life. If there's a particular professional career you want to go into and a specific area of that profession, then make sure you do ask them, like, how is this job for you? What are the good aspects about it? What do you not like about it? And what would be your recommendations if if that was what you did, for example. So you're getting someone else's opinion, someone else's judgment. Now, you still got to judge for yourself, but if you get a collective amount of different opinions and you start looking at things from an insider point of view, from the people who are doing what you want to do, this gives you great insider knowledge that you can make a more informed choice and decision about what you do. And this will enable you to feel more in control of a situation when you feel out of control. Because that's the thing with change, you feel out of control. So rather than focusing on things you can't control, you have to focus on things you can control. So when you're moving to a new home, I've got to move out of here. So when I'm moving to a new home, one of the things to focus about is what qualities I want in a new home. For example, double glazing, central heating, somewhere quiet, somewhere self-contained, these types of things. And it's important to obviously think about the furniture you're going to put in there, because if it's unfurnished, so I'll be bringing my own furniture, I might have to buy some more furniture for the place if I get it. So all this type of thing is literally enabling me to focus on things I can control. Now, I can't control whether letting an agency say yes or no. I can only give them the answers to their form that I had to fill in to apply for the actual property. It's up to the landlord, because it is a little bit more out of my price range, and they go by the amount of income you're earning. So it's a little bit more than my income would usually. I mean, I can still afford it, but they work it out. They work out how much. It's like 2.5 times your income when you're renting. So whatever your income is, you've got to have like 2.5 times that amount of money, if you know what I mean, coming in per year. So this is like what they go by, but they did say there's some wiggle room, but obviously I've got to know there's quite a lot of money. Like it's gonna push me past a point that I haven't been before past. So I've got to be aware of that, but I think the payoff will be worth it. So sometimes you have to think logically, like if you, in my case, if I pay more money, am I going to get a much better place? Is it going to be more secure? Is it going to be more functional and practical? Is it going to be better for my health? Because if my health's better, I won't have to get so many health products then, because I probably won't need as many, because I'll be more settled and things like this. So I think it's really important to take all these things into consideration. So talk to people that are in the position that you want to be in or considering being in. Think about things you can control, not what you can't control. Be honest with yourself and others. Think about the gains you will get if you get the thing you want, or if you make the change you want, even if it's difficult. And understand that when you do have a change in your life, it can be unsettling, and that is natural to feel that way. It can be a grieving process, because you're grieving for something you've lost. But if you're getting something better, then it's going to be good. It's like upgrading your life to the next level. It's like making your life more comfortable and happy. So the trade-off of the anxiety and uncertainty and getting actually a better outcome and circumstance than you've currently got is going to be worth it. So sometimes we have to understand that although we're highly anxiety induced, it will pass and it won't be forever. And we have to look back at how we've achieved things before and push through our fears when things were up in the air before. And if we succeeded then, we can be safe in the knowledge that we're likely to succeed again, because you can get more confidence, right? Once you've done something once, you can do it again. I've moved once on my own from a long, the last property, the property before this one, I moved in on my own, but I was always living with someone before that. So I moved in to the last place I lived in my city before this one. And I was there for a long time on my own. And then, but that was like moving into a place, and then actually moving from there to here, that was quite an upheaval, because I've got to pay a lot of money out, for removals, maybe rent up front, and furniture and things like that. So it is tough on the money and stuff like that. So you've got to make sure you budget. You've got to think practically as well as logically. And you've got to listen to your intuitions and emotions as well, because you have to listen to the whole package. You can't just listen to part of you. But you have to assess, like, is your anxiety warranted? Well, anxiety is usually always warranted in the sense it's your anxiety. And you want to keep yourself safe, and anxiety is a coping mechanism for trying to keep you safe, but sometimes it can actually stop you doing things in life because you can get too anxious that you don't try anything else. Now, the thing is, it's always good to try and have a backup plan, especially if you've got anxiety. This means that you do something, but if something goes wrong, you give yourself a get out clause. So in terms of me moving, then I hope wherever I get, which is where it's this place I've applied for or something else, I hope I feel safe and really happy there. But the get out clause is that I can always move if I need to again in the future. I don't have to chain myself down there forever or tie myself down. I am looking for like a forever home. I don't want to keep moving around. I don't like it. It's a bit destabilizing. But having said that, if a better place comes up and there's just issues there that I don't end up liking, then it is better for me to move, because it's better for moving than it is to stay in a situation that's no good. And that's imperative to note with anxiety, you know. Here's Eeyore wanting to say hello. Hello. So um yeah, so it's imperative that you think about what you're going to gain, and if your circumstances are no longer suitable for you, then and there's no way to, you know, maybe you've negotiated, or maybe it's just the way it is, and you've got to either lump it or do something about it, as in move, then you've got to make that decision. But we have to know and understand we're responsible for ourselves. So although we can ask family or friends or people for advice, at the end of the day, it's ultimately our own decision. So we have to take radical responsibility for our own life. And obviously, people who have got anxiety, it can be difficult because you want sometimes other people to tell you the answers, because it's hard if you've got anxiety. It's hard sometimes to trust yourself. It's hard sometimes to make a decision. It's hard sometimes to have confidence in yourself. But if we rely on other people, then we don't grow the confidence ourselves. We don't increase our self-esteem, and we're leaving our life to the mercy of others. And even though it might be others that care about us, they aren't us. So we're the ones who've got to live our lives. So it's imperative that we do grow a backbone, that we do actually realize that it doesn't matter what anyone else says. At the end of the day, the decision is ultimately our own, and we have to make it, and make it the best one for us, especially if we've got friends or family that are very different from us. If they're very different from us, they're not going to see things from the same perspective. It's like when I move, I'll be moving in the city centre again. Like my best friend, he's been really good at listening to me talking about moving and my concerns, which is amazing. But he doesn't want to ever live in a city because it's not his thing. You know, he's like a country guy. So as far as I know, unless he changes his mind later, he doesn't ever want to city. I think he might have considered living in a town before, but not a city. So, but he did say he likes Exeter actually. So at one point he was considering years ago if he'd like to move here. So I guess it's not totally out of the question. But I mean, he's decided now no. But back then he was considering it for a while. But you know, his mum owns the house where they live, so it's better for him to stay there. And yeah, I just think it's important to take responsibility, but it's very scary at the same time. And so what I did, like I said, is I went out and actually viewed the property I'm going to be moving to at night time, because that's what I'm most worried about and scared about. But as the people there seem to really like it, it does seem safe, it does seem quiet, I think it's good. So I've made a decision to apply for it, and then it's up to the letting agency and landlord whether I actually get approved for it or not. If I do, then obviously my life's going to be a little bit easier in terms of knowing what I need to do, having dates and things, and I will be able to not have to worry about searching for a property again. If it says no, I have to go back to the property search, or I have to wait. It's a waiting game. Now, it's quite hard when you're waiting and you don't know what's going to happen, but you have to just think, okay, I mean, I could just carry on looking at properties because I haven't actually, I haven't put any money into this one yet. So I can still look at properties, which I did earlier, but there wasn't anything suitable anyway. So there's reasons why that's good. One is because if you can't find anything else suitable and you like that place anyway, then that place is more likely going to be more suitable for you. And, because you think it is. And the other benefit of looking is just to see what else is out there, and so you're being proactive still, you're still doing something. I find sometimes with anxiety, it's better to be doing something because you feel more in control when you're doing something than when you're just passively reacting to things. When I took control on Friday, for example, last Friday, and he got the email on Monday about moving. When I took control on Friday, and I was doing search every single day for a property, but on Friday I physically went to the letting agencies. This particular letting agency is just 4 doors up from where I currently live, and I'd already been there before, and they said, "Oh, there's 2 flats coming up soon." But at that point, they hadn't actually told me anything much about them apart from the block of flats are in. They hadn't said about a viewing. But then when I went back on Friday, which is only like a couple of days later, the guy's like, "Oh, we can get you a viewing for next week." So provisionally booked it for yesterday, and then we actually booked it for today because they were going to be sleeping that day because they work night shifts. So the person was really friendly who let me in. Her son and her were really nice. And so it was a joy to actually go round it. And so I think when you are in uncertain circumstances, if you can talk to someone who's friendly and approachable and who'll tell you the information you need to know to make an informed decision, that does help ease anxiety. Remember, anxiety is there to protect you. It's quite natural to be anxious when you've got change happening in your life. But remember, change happens for a good reason, not a bad reason. Every change happens for a reason as well. So I started believing that everything happens for a reason years ago. And since I've believed that, my life has got a lot better because it's reassuring. Every time I say everything happens for a reason, it's reassuring that it doesn't matter whatever happens, it's always going to be in my best interest, in my favor, and it's going to work out as a better thing for me, whatever happens. So saying that mantra, that thing in your mind about things are always working out for me is a very good thing to say. So it's like an affirmation. Things are always working out for me. Things are always working out for me in my favor, and everything happens for a reason. I find these sentences really empowering, really inspiring, and comforting to know that no matter what, things are going to go right. And instead of looking at what could go wrong, I think it's really important to turn our mind around, flip the script, and say, what could go right? What are the benefits of getting the outcome that I'm thinking about getting when I'm forced to change anyway? Because I've got to move out of here. Like the other properties I've seen are not appropriate. They don't have everything I need really. Well, one of them I haven't even looked at in person. One of them has some things, but it doesn't have all of it. The only place that has everything I need is the place that I've seen earlier. So double glazing, central heating, self-contained, all on one level, really nice. A top floor, I prefer top floor, even though there's a lot of stairs there. Close to the city centre, can put washer dryer in there, can put a fridge freezer in, which I'd have to buy my own for that. And so, that's really good. And I was thinking, what if it's better for you to be there because there is more people there? Because I'm worried about there being 35 flats, basically. There's like 2 blocks of flats. That's a lot of flats. However, I was thinking afterwards, well, you're sociable, Sandra. You like talking to people. So maybe you'll meet more people there that you can actually talk to, say hi to, and have chats with. So it might actually be better for your social life. I mean, it's in a part of the city which has got a lot of I was going to say bars, but it's got a lot of places to eat there. It's a place I go to a lot, like not that specific little part of the area, but the bigger area I go to quite a lot. And there's 2 supermarkets very close by, one's really close by. So there's a lot of benefits. If I move there, I think my health will improve. I'll be able to have like windows that I can open and windows that let in the sunlight where I'm here. I've had to border this one up because just the soundproofing is terrible. They're purpose built, so it'll be better soundproofing as well. It should be quieter because it's purpose built and double glazed, and my health should improve. And so we always think naturally when we've got anxiety of the worst case scenario, but it's good to flip it over and say, what's the best case scenario? The best case scenario is I live there. I feel totally safe there, really happy there. So glad I moved in. I'm able to like actually have a proper home for once where I can feel like, yeah, it's a really beautiful home and everything's going really well. I can have more space to do my work. I can have more storage space. It can be like a proper home where I am now, like even the TV's at a weird angle up there. You can't see it here. But I don't watch TV, but I use the TV for Blu-rays, but I haven't used it for ages because it's kind of like not in a good position, the TV's slanted like this and I've got stuff around it currently. I'd probably have to buy some more storage for the next place, but it would just be so much better. There'd be no mold as well, because she specifically said there's no mold. That's one of the favourite things she liked about it, because the last place was mouldy, and here it's really mouldy. There's windows that are one window that's completely bolted down because it's rotten. The glass was falling out before I even came here. It's foamed up. I won't miss that. I won't miss the cold in the winter because there's no double glazing in here, and you can't put it in because it's a listed building. I won't miss the fact that central heating's not that good because the radiator up here faces down. I won't miss the shouting at the middle of the night and swearing in the street. I won't miss all the noise in the street. I won't miss the property being on 2 levels. I won't miss the fact that the kitchen's not very practical downstairs. There's a lot of stuff I won't miss at all here. I'll be glad to leave. But obviously it has been my home for over a year, nearly 2 years. Well, it's a year. I moved in February last year. It's September now, so over a year and a half. So of course it's going to be a little bit sad in some ways for me because I'm used to it here, and it's an upheaval moving, like it's, that's what I think. But if I think of it like an adventure and I think of it like it's going to be really good for me and it's going to be amazing and good things are going to happen for me there, and I can write my books more easily in terms of having more space, and I'll feel better in general, so I'll be able to relax more, and my stress levels should reduce because that's been a really big problem for me lately with my stress levels. My health should improve. So it's going to be really good if I get that place. There's other ones I don't like as much, they're not suitable. So I'm really hoping I do get this one, but it is a bit more expensive. So, you've got to weigh the pros and cons. But I think it'll be worth it because I think my health's going to improve loads. I just have a feeling it's going to really improve, and I'm going to like thinking, this is home really mine? Pinch me because it's so nice. So, yeah, so with anxiety, one way of coping is to actually see the flip side. So whenever you think of some negatives, think what the opposite that would be, the benefit of it. Think about how you're progressing in your life, and change is essential to progress. We can't progress and grow in our life if we don't have change in it, unfortunately. So it's important to try and get more comfortable with unexpected change, which is hard when you've got anxiety. I've got a generalized anxiety disorder condition. So by getting used to change, though, it does enable you to cope with more change in the future because you're like, wow, I'm used to change. So I'm used to this happening now. You get comfortable more with the uncomfortable, and then you become more comfortable with it, if it makes sense. The more you get used to doing things, the more you know how to do them, so more confident you get in that thing. So I am more confident this time in moving because I've done it before and I know what's going to happen. Whereas before I didn't have a clue what's going to happen. Now I do know what's going to happen. And if I do get the property, then I know that it's going to be good because I really love the flat. It's a really nice flat. And it'll be like amazing. It'll be like, wow, Sandra's gone up in the world, And I do deserve that. I deserve a really nice home for me. I deserve beautiful things. I deserve to live a good life. So I think I manifested it by thinking about moving anyway. But I wasn't thinking, well, I wasn't actually going to instigate moving so soon. But sometimes that's what happens. You tell the universe, God, whatever you believe in, what you want, you visualize it, and then the God and the universe are like, okay, you can have it now. And even if you don't, even if you weren't actually saying I want it now, if your brain was saying you want it and you're already feeling it, then you're more likely to manifest it and it come and happen in your life. This is how like intuition works. This is how manifestation works. This is how serendipity works, synchronicity works, whatever spiritual or lovely, enlightened thing you believe. And I know that I can think things and make things happen with my mind sometimes like that. So I can equally make things happen with my mind if I don't want to do something or I don't want something to happen, even if I say I do, but subconsciously I don't, it's not going to happen because my aura and my energy is like, I don't really want that. I resist it. So therefore, I know it's not really going to happen a lot of the time. But there are some things that surprise me. I think, oh, right, okay, that's not actually going to happen now because it's been too long, and then all of a sudden it pops up and I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't get it when I wanted it, but it's here now. So yeah, I think life is amazing, and I think as well having an attitude of gratitude really helps. So I do positive affirmations every morning through YouTube videos, and I've also been doing more gratitude lately. And I think when we think more about things we're grateful for and the good things in life, we get more good and grateful things come our way. You know, when we're focused on bad things and not negative, well, I was going to say not good things, negative things, then they're more likely to come to surface and happen. So because I was thinking more negatively, like, oh, about crime, I was looking up crime rates in different areas of my city. Actually, there's a lot near where I live. There's probably some months this year was more near where I live now than there is in the area that I'm going to be moving to. I'm saying going to be moving to, like I'm going to get it, because I think I will get it. I have confidence I'm going to get this place. I just feel I will, because I thought I'd get it even before I saw it, which is very strange, isn't it? But I thought I'd get it before I even saw it. I just had a feeling I'd get it and I'll move there and my life will be good and I'll be able to have a proper home. It'll be so good to have nice windows again, proper windows. It'll be just so good to have a nice home, you know? And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to moving actually, but I'm apprehensive about it. At the same time, I was having some tears early because I'm apprehensive and I was worried about my safety. It seems the safety is quite good there. There are a few, you know, there's a couple of issues, but well, one issue. But other than that, everything else seems good. And so I think that it will be a good for me if I do get it. So coping with change means that, excuse me, my eyes itching, means that you're going to have to get used to change. You're going to have to think that it's beneficial rather than something that's not. Sometimes we can have situations in life that go on and on for ages, and subconsciously we really do want to change, but we're too scared to. But once the change has happened, it's a relief. You're like, oh, thank God for that. And sometimes you move to a situation that's even better. And had you stayed in the old situation, it would be worse for you. So have you ever moved from an area and gone to another one where actually the other one's far better than the one that you just left, but you're worried about the other area? That can happen, you know? Things happen for a reason. Like you can end up splitting up with someone, but actually it can end up being the best thing that happened to you because of what you do after you've split up. Like you look for answers. If you can't get answers from the person because you're no longer in touch with the person, you look for answers either in your life or within yourself, or you get more preoccupied with other things in your life to take your mind off that person. And by getting more preoccupied with other things in your life, you tend to do more activities and more hobbies and interests. Then you tend to broaden your horizons, develop your mindset more, and actually grow more as a person. So what was an instigator for a difficult, upsetting, painful situation has actually allowed you to thrive and flourish. You know, since I split up with my ex this year, I wasn't with him that long. You know, I've gone from strength to strength, really. I wasn't initially, like, I was really heartbroken and upset, as you can see in my videos, for like 10 weeks. But overall, I'm doing much better. I'm much more focused on my writing. I'm focused on improving my health. I'm in Matthew Hussey's Love Life Club and learning loads there. So that's important. Like with change, it is good if you can talk to someone like friends and family, like I said, but they are not you. So they can't fully understand your change, but they can be sympathetic and empathetic if they are. So this really helps. Being just confident in yourself enough to believe that you'll work things out. So believe in your ability to work things out, even if you don't know how they're going to work out, and the time is really important. So it's all about having self-belief and having faith in yourself, putting faith in yourself, and knowing that whatever happens, you've got your own back, that you will support yourself, and that you will get yourself through this, and that you will look after yourself. You'll look after yourself, your own person, you. So when you become a best friend to yourself, then anxiety is not such an issue. And the more decisions you make for yourself, the more confident you'll become, the less you'll have anxiety, because it reduces anxiety. If you've made good decisions before and you've made quite a lot of decisions, then you'll be like, oh, I know what to do. So all these things can help boost your confidence and self-esteem and help reduce your anxiety. Anxiety is a fear of the unknown, but it's also to do with having a lack of confidence within ourselves and faith within ourselves, because we're worried that we feel out of control, that we won't know what to do in the situation, that we'll panic. And some of us already actually are in that situation where we don't know what to do and we're panicking. So we know we have to make a decision. So you have to make a decision on things. You can't linger around forever. And when it comes to house moving, like I'm currently going through, then you can't afford to linger. You can afford to linger a little bit because you don't just want to jump into a place that's no good for you, but you can't afford to dilly dally all the time when there's a lack of properties compared to the amount of people that are looking for the type of property you're looking for. So you've got to bear this in mind. Just to let you know, I'm on live with Dr. Al show. It's already been broadcast now. So live with the famous Dr. Al. It's a show on Brushwood Media. It's a syndicated radio show. So Asexuality has now been broadcast. I think he's got 5 million listeners. So it's been broadcast now to all those millions of listeners. I will be putting a link to that in the post section within the next 24 hours. So look out for that. Make sure you view it. There is actually already a post in the community tab that does have a link to where you can listen to the episode. But I will be posting another link directly to my specific episode. So when you have things in your life like that, because that's actually been recorded a while, so it says it's live, but that means it's gone live. It's not actually live because I pre-recorded it with him. But when you have things like that where people believe in you and have faith in you and they back you up and they're they're exposing me in a good way. I mean, being on his show, Dr. Al's show, he's very famous in America. Then over 5 million people knowing about asexuality and what I do to help asexuals. I mean, that's just an amazing achievement. And so although I might be feeling anxious about change, if I look at all the things that I've accomplished in my life and continue to accomplish, then that makes me feel better because it makes me have confidence in myself. So I would urge you that if you're anxious about things, to think about all your accomplishments. Instead of thinking about what you lack and what you don't know about, think about what you've already accomplished. Think about the people that do believe in you, that do have faith in you, that do value what you have to say. Think about those people. Think about those times. When you focus on positive stuff and good things that have happened to you, and you believe in your ability to work things out, you look for evidence of when you've achieved a similar thing before so you can do it again, you get people's opinions, views on the situation, but you ultimately make your own decisions. And you can ask people who have been in that situation before. It's like all these things together help to reduce anxiety and help you cope with it. And even just giving yourself a hug and say, I know this is really difficult for you, but you will get through it. I know it's hard because change is hard for anyone, especially with someone with an anxiety condition. So it's important to give yourself a hug and some self-love and say it's okay, you know. It's okay to feel anxious. It's okay to grieve if you've got to change your life when maybe you didn't want to. But I did want to change it to a certain extent, but I didn't want to change it right now. But I probably subconsciously did think because I deserve a nicer place, you know. So it's happened really at the right time that the landlords decided to sell because I was already thinking about moving. And now the universe is saying, okay, you deserve better. Let's shove you in somewhere better. Let's make this happen for you now, not later. And so this is only going to be a good thing, really. But I'm just like nervous and apprehensive because I haven't lived in that specific area before. And I know there's some problems with some other roads near there and stuff. So, but I've just got to think positively because if I think negatively, then negative things are more likely to happen. If I think positive, like it's a really safe area, it's all calm, peaceful, quiet, everyone's enjoying themselves, it's all good, then I'm going to feel so much better. It's like if you've got friends or family members or people you come across and they keep going on about negative stuff, it sinks in your head, especially stuff off the news. If someone said, oh, well, I saw someone so and someone was murdered there, or someone had a knife there, or someone was like really bad there, or this is a bad thing, that's a bad thing. It gets in your mind and then you automatically think about that naturally, which isn't good. And then by focusing on that, you're more likely to get the thing you don't want because you'll be focusing on what you don't want and not what you do. So we have to flip the script around and think, okay, what's the good outcome of this? What's the best outcome? How can I feel safe? But I tell myself, I'm safe. This area is safe. These people are safe. The whole place is safe. Everything is safe. Because when I tell myself things are safe, my tummy settles down, doesn't go into spasms. It settles down. It was more into like nervousness earlier. I'm still going to be a bit nervous because I'm moving, you know, to a new place that's unknown. But like I said, give yourself a get out clause. Mine is if I don't like it there after my tenancy's up, then I can obviously leave. You know, and even if my tenancy wasn't up, I could always negotiate and say, look, you know, if something really bad was going on. First of all, they own the letting agency run I was going to say own, but they run, well, basically manage the whole flats in 2 blocks. So if something does go wrong, I can go to them about it, you know. And they have an emergency number for a weekend if there's a problem too. So I think this is really good. It'll probably be a really good, smart move for me, and I'll finally be able to relax in a beautiful home. That's what I want for me a lot. It'd be so good. I really want the best for me, you know. So want the best for yourself. Think the best for yourself. Think the best is going to happen. Think only good can come from this. Only good can come from the change. There's a reason why change is happening in your life, and it's for your benefit. Not downfall, but benefit. Remember that. And although you feel anxious and nervous now, this time shall pass. Just think this time shall pass. It will not be forever. You will eventually be happy and succeed. The quicker that can happen, the better. And sometimes it means we have to go through some anxiety in order to get what we want quicker and get a better outcome quicker. Because the more we put off things because of our anxiety, the more we hold ourselves back actually. But the more we do things in spite of fear and be courageous, the more we're likely to get what we want quicker because there's less obstacles in our way as we bash through all those obstacles. But if we let all the obstacles build up because we haven't challenged ourselves to push through our fears and boundaries, then there seems a huge mountain to climb and it's hard to break through. So by tackling things head on that you are afraid of, that do make you anxious, a lot of the time you can bulldoze through them and actually see the light of day the other side and be happier and content and just have a better life. So we hold ourselves back when we keep avoiding things all the time. It's better not to avoid, even if sometimes we want to, and to actually push through the thing we want or take a different angle on it and try and do something a different way. That can also improve things as well. So yeah, I hope you found this video useful, helpful, insightful. If you have, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Obviously, like, see a counsellor if you need some help with your mental health. I'm not a medical professional, but I hope you found this video useful, helpful, insightful in some way. and interesting. If you have, please pop a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode. And grab copies of my best-selling asexual books, Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual, 78 Life Lessons to Asexual Life, Asexual Perspectives, 70. Oh, I was going to say 70. So this is Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual, 78 Life Lessons to Asexual Life. And this is Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Stories, Love, Life and Sex, A Celebration of Asexual Diversity. These books are both amazing if you want insights into how asexuals think about dating, relationships, love, life, sex, and so much more. And don't forget to grab a copy of my Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook. How to manage fibromyalgia to have less pain, more energy, and feel happier like a superhero rock star. Now, even if you don't have fibromyalgia, which is a chronic pain condition that affects the nerves and muscle of the body, you would still be wise to get this book because it's autobiographical and it's a personal development book in disguise, basically. And it will help you in your life reduce 25 aspects of pain or 25 areas of pain in your life. So it's up to 25 areas of pain in your life it helps you to reduce, basically. And that's relevant whether you've got fibromyalgia or not. The majority of it in here still applies. It tells you how to overcome depression as well. And yeah, it's all told in a superhero style way. So it's quite entertaining and fun. I do mention asexuality in the book as well. So go and grab a copy of these books. They're all on Amazon. And yeah, under Sandra Bellamy, Quirky Books. I'll see you soon on the next video live stream. Lots of love. Please pop a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, like I said, and subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode. Lots of love. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.